They're just throwing out ideas.
It's not enough just to play with the new technological gimmicks. It's not enough to create some wonderful new acrobatics.
Dobar večer svima, hvala što ćete ostati na ovom kratkom razgovoru. Ovo je posljednji u nizu razgovora na festivalu. Još nakon ovog slijedi film Ima li parti. S nama je večeras Zsuzsanna Szegedi Varga, correct, multimedijalna umjetnica iz Mađarske sa dugogodišnjim stažem u Americi, o čijem radu ne znamo mnogo, međutim ona zna dosta evo i o Kepešu, o tome, pa ćemo malo i o tome razgovarati. Film je doista fascinantan i na neki način zapravo nam otvara ovu perspektivu da smo i sretni kako je dobro bilo to 20. stoljeće. Hello, Zsuzsanna. Well, we can start with Kepes and how and where did you first meet him, and in what way his work and his life influenced your work?
Wow. Hello.
Hard question.
Thank you for having me, and that's a loaded question because, can you hear me? Yes. Well, I'm an artist, so in art education, immediately you meet the work with Kepes in the textbooks. You receive a book, Language of Vision, and later in college, I went to college in Eger, where he has a museum.
It's the northern part of Hungary.
Yes, eastern part of Hungary, and the museum is full of his paintings. And when I first went there, that's when I realized that there's much more to art than just painting and photography, because you could see everything together. And that was what was amazing. That was the author was one person. That one person can do all these many things, right? So he was crossing boundaries between disciplines. Didn't feel like staying in one. But then I moved to the U.S. and I moved to Boston, and I heard that he lives there. So immediately I opened the phone book and found his name and called him and said, I'd like to meet.
How old was he then?
Yes, so the answer was he didn't answer the phone. The answer was, unfortunately, he doesn't take visitors anymore because he's elderly, and yes, but I didn't take no for an answer. So I did go and did meet him, but this is a very special circumstances because by this time he did not speak. He had a stroke, so he was very, very old. And but our visits was interesting because it turned out that he did still speak Hungarian, which the family didn't find out until we were there speaking to him. So it was a very nice surprise, and it was a very different kind of encounter and meeting a person, especially such a powerful visionary, right? And yeah.
But isn't it strange that someone like him, like so, as you said, powerful visionary man and thinker, is still unknown in the huge audience in the world? Is he very popular in Hungary?
I think anywhere you go, he's not very popular. And
how can we explain this? Why is it
because
so?
it was in his nature. He had no interest in being popular, you know. He was living for his visions and creating an atmosphere where these visions can come to life. And obviously he was making choices in his life to make this possible.
And nowadays, when we are all talking about chat GPT and artificial intelligence and robotics and science is all around, what do you think, in what way his work still resonate with our time and the 21st century?
Yes, oh my God. So we could stay here for 2 days
Forever.
to talk
We will
about
stay
this,
forever.
yes, but try to sum it up. In the film you saw his thoughts on cybernetics. This was the time when, in the 50s, 60s, when cybernetics started, the birthplace of a lot of the technological inventions that eventually led us to AI and ChatGPT and all this today. So he was at the very forefront of this. But I also have to say that he was not isolated from his environment, right? So we're talking about MIT and America, and of course this was an international program that he created, but still it was within institutions and interest of how technology forms. Yes.
Can you tell us something about your art and in what way you connect science, technology, and art?
Yes, so by education, I'm an artist. Sometimes I call myself interdisciplinary artist because I work between different disciplines, but it's really more like non-disciplinary because now actually just recently I joined the science community, so I'm researching the early imaginary of cybernetics and actually from the perspective of environmental protection and how art and science relationship sort of went on a different trajectory than Kepes imagined.
And when and how did you meet the director of the movie? You were
yes.
connected also.
Yes, Marton Orosz, who was greeting you at the beginning of the film. I met him when he was researching the work of Kepes in Massachusetts, where I lived for 25 years and worked there. So he was searching for people who own paintings or any kind of artwork from him to photograph it. So I did. I photographed the work for him, and from the received photograph, he knew that I'm not taking a picture with, let's say, with a camera with flash, but professionally processed it, and we started to work professionally together. He learned about my story of my investment in this line of work. So yes, and every time he visited, we helped each other. Yes.
Okay, can you share with us your impressions with the movie?
What is it?
Impressions of the movie. Your impressions of this movie that we saw. What do you think about it?
Yes. I mean, I think this movie is very important, especially for an artist who is not so well known. It's very important to put down the foundation of how he started. And but I do see, just as somebody else also said it in the movie, that this is just the beginning, because there's so many layers to his life, and all the interviews that we saw, Marton collected over 15 years, which is amazing because in the environment of lack of funding, lack of time, and traveling between Budapest, because Marton is living and working in Budapest, traveling to Massachusetts, and each time he was visiting each of the interviewers and many more who did not make it to the movie. So there's a lot more material to make more movies, actually.
Okay. You told me that you are now living in Slovenia.
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
What are you doing there?
Yes, that's also a big question.
You're studying again?
Yes, I'm studying again. I'm now joined, as I said, I'm starting PhD program in science, environmental protection. And actually, I have also a dream to start a visual center, but a different kind. You know, after learning the many efforts that we see in science and in art, we have a lot to do, because there are parts of the visions, early visions, not just Kepes, but other, and we saw some of the references that didn't really necessarily play out the way we wanted, right? Because at the time, Kepes was talking a lot about environment and the artist's relationship and responsibility for the environment of our role, and also yes, how we communicate and how we work with scientists, right? So there's a lot more work to do. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this conversation. Hvala Zsuzsanni.
Thank you.
A ja vas molim da ostanete još minuticu sa mnom, jer je s nama, ja ću je pozvati, Inga Fulep. Također svjedokinja događaja koje smo vidjeli u filmu, pa bih htjela evo da nam i vi malo iz prve ruke prokomentirate film i cijelo to, sve te ljude koji su zapravo bili tamo, cijeli taj pokret.
Pa cijeli sigurno ne mogu, to bi bilo malo pre... Ne, ja sam studirala od 1985. do 1988. Zapravo prvo na Harvardu, ali čim sam dolazila već tamo, film sam došla studirati, zapravo i video, čim sam došla čula sam da se otvorio MIT Media Lab. I to je naravno bilo meni jako zanimljivo. Ja sam došla iz područja filmske montaže, pa ta tehnika i film, to me sve jako zanimalo. I međutim u to vrijeme je već naravno bio Center for Advanced Visual Studies koji je osnovao Kepes, a koji je u to vrijeme vodio već dosta dugo Topini. Dakle, Harvard je bio više teoretski, MIT Media Lab su bili znanstvenici, djelomično umjetnici, ali jako puno tehnologije, a Center for Visual Advanced Studies je bilo moje mjesto gdje sam sretala umjetnike. I to je bilo stvarno vrijedno u tom malom kembričkom području da postoji toliko zanimljivih ljudi koji su ne samo radili svoje stvari, nego mi smo zaista mogli dolaziti njima u atelje i tu su bile i predavanja, odnosno oni su predstavljali svoje dostignuća. Tako da u roku 3 godine sam srela fantastične ljude. A apropo Kepeša, kad sam došla na MIT, prvi put on je upravo bio u posjeti. I ja nisam znala ko je on, ali kad sam vidjela kao osobu, već je bio dosta u godinama, ja sam vidjela ko je to i onda su mi rekli jedan od najznačajnijih ljudi koji je zapravo povezao umjetnost i znanost. Tako sam ga i upoznala, odnosno naravno nije to bilo velika poznanstva, ali mi je zapravo ostao u sjećanju. Ja sam stvarno danas evo posebno došla vidjeti ovaj film da vidim više o njemu ono i što nisam doživjela i vidjela.
Evo još kratko, kako vam se čini film?
Pa meni je jako zanimljiv, naravno, ja kad ste me pitali, neke ljude sam poznala, ali ima još drugih koje znam i koje je bilo isto tako dobro. Sorry, you don't understand, I will tell you later. I u svakom slučaju meni je fascinantno kao dokumentacija jer je to zaista područje koje se jako malo obrađuje. Medijski se uopće ta umjetnost, znanost, tehnologija s čim se ja već bavim zadnjih 30 godina, više nego samim filmom, premalo se zna i to je jedan fantastičan uvod u nešto gdje se može puno toga i dalje širiti. Čak i naše nove tendencije, da ne govorim, i tako dalje.
Tako imam veliki kontekst toga, a i ovo vrijeme je kao rođeno za ovaj film. Hvala vam puno na ovom razgovoru i hvala i vama i gledamo dalje film odmah, jel tako? Pitam Tinu, jel nastavljamo odmah? Da.